father teach me how to milk a cow. I was educated.
Okay. Now,
so I disagree with you.
Now, our learned friends, through the process of learning, acquiring knowledge formally, they have benchmarks that they use to measure if you've actually acquired knowledge. Right? They have certificates that they award you, they have diplomas that they give you, they have degrees that they give you, they have masters and PhDs to show that you've actually acquired knowledge from this institution. Now, those who are educated informally, what are the benchmarks? What are the things that they use to show that you've acquired the skills that have been passed on to you?
The output.
I like giving talks when other people are also
I believe it's demonstrating that you have a skill.
So
I used the example milking. You milk and you get the milk.
Okay.
You demonstrated that you have acquired the skill.
Okay.
Something like ABC is being a problem solver.
Okay. Being a problem solver. And you find friends in universities, they call that applied knowledge. Isn't it? You're able to use what you've acquired to solve a problem. We used to have applied technology. This is still being offered because I don't see results. Okay. You can be educated through informal and formal means. And the benchmarks that we use are experiences that you've gathered and how you transform those into productivity within the community that you live in. The more productive that you are, the more we realize that you're actually skilled in that area. How many of us remember a gentleman, a very good friend of many people in the community where he lived and where he worked from, in the country at large, and he was given a nickname, Seya. He demonstrated that he had learned a lot of skills in the business world. And those of us who have attained learning knowledge, acquired learning knowledge, we are still professors without MBAs at university, but not able to translate what we have acquired from university into the kinds of empires that he actually built. Now we are seeing the difference between being educated and learning. Now the other thing, there are communities that belong, or communities where people belong. Now you give a land, there's a good story, which is true, of a person who had been in formal employment for a long time. Time comes for them to receive their NSSF. And they actually receive their NSSF. Good money. You know what this gentleman does? Gets all his package, NSSF package, and remodels his house. Throws all the money in his house. Now, who have been in the informal sector, running around $50,000 US, $100,000 US, $200,000 US, when you give him that kind of money, he will never do the same projects that you give. It has known the art of multiplying money. So one of the characteristics of those that are educated, they live on passive income. But those that are learned, they live on paycheck, monthly paychecks. So those that are learned, usually, they depend on a day job. They are seekers of knowledge. You'll find them really seeking knowledge, knowledge after knowledge. And they get energized or motivated by what we do. Wow! And that wow moment is usually a breakthrough in knowledge. Either they've added on to knowledge or they've proved existing knowledge. And they are so excited about that. Now, you speak to someone who is not learned but educated. His eureka moments, you'll be surprised. They have nothing to do with how much knowledge he has added on to the existing body of knowledge. knowledge in books and all that in research, but how much of his asset base has grown. Now you'll be asking yourself, am I educated or learned? These people both belong to the corporate world, if they choose to. You'll find a gentleman in a t-shirt and khaki trousers within the corporate world. And it's not only tied to wearing jackets like me and tucking in nicely with a football so that you really look smart. But they both belong to the corporate world. They know the dynamic benefit from the corporate world more than the land people. The land people are the machines, the mechanisms that actually run the corporate world. They're the ones that actually manage, they are managers of the corporate world. The educated guys are the beneficiaries of the corporate world. They know how to tap into resources. They know how to invest the resources. So you find that the educated guys are mostly the ones that at the end of the month do not ask how much has come off my paycheck, but how much money has gone off my account to pay the land guys. Not in the corporate world, but playing different roles. Some of the shortcomings, if I go to the shortcomings of the business or the corporate world, on the side of the education, if I go to the shortcomings, let me just say this. Usually they establish businesses and enterprises, the educated, because they use their skills to multiply themselves. They establish businesses and enterprises that are very nice. You actually admire them. You admire their resilience and their energy. The shortcoming with that is that they have what we call the alpha syndrome, the big man syndrome. When he passes on, when he dies, usually those that stay behind cannot fit into their shoes. So their empires are susceptible to falling or failing. They are self-made, they are successful, but this mechanism of being self-made or being able to harness resources and multiply them may sometimes not be easily passed on. It is not genetic. I find that someone's son may not be as productive as to take their children into the system. And because of that, you find that the development and the success they've achieved cannot be sustained. In the corporate world, where things are by the book, if they are lawyers, if you find a very good land lawyer, 2-3 words will be saying, as the law says, moving by the law, interpreting the law, whatever they say has to be by the book. They are sticklers to a set order. They don't question how that order came into place. Now, in the communities that they develop and communities where they live, usually it's where we also find Rotary. And this is where some of the things that are silent within Rotary, that we see within Rotary, come out. You find a club that is full of lovely people, very strict on certain things. My governor, and AG here would testify, my governor used to say, as long as it works, do it. Okay? One time he told us, I think we were in Mutungu, he said, why are you struggling with English? And you have members who probably, so you find that people who are on the side of the land, they want to follow things by the book. There are good things with that. because the object of Rotary encourages us high ESCO standards. That is number one. Part number one of the object of Rotary. High ESCO standards in business and professions.
Part two.
Part two. Yes. We have informed people here. Part two. So you find that strictness sometimes forms bureaucracy and bureaucratic tendencies. So you find a club is actually chasing a project for 20 years and does not materialize because there is some red tape that has refused to be passed. Among the disadvantages of land communities. They are model-oriented, the young people. They are model-oriented. You must have a model that has worked, and they call these best practices. And if you come with something that is brand new, they'll say, ha ha ha, Rotary Club of Chico. Oh, where have you had that? You say, but sticklers to modeling. You must have a model that has worked. The good thing with that, it helps to build and sustain an informed empire or an informed industry, an industry that is built and managed on information that is kept, stored, that you can refer to. Those are the models that we're talking about. And it creates sustainability. Probably that's why we are still around. Now Rotary is how many years? 101? 17 years. So it has advantages to be learned and also advantages to be educated. My guess tonight will be that let us walk in the middle. Let us take the middle ground or a hybrid so that we pick skills and information from the informal sector and apply it within our land environment. Unless someone does not believe that I have ended my talk, I beg to ask a few questions so that our president can go on with her fellowship. Otherwise, it might seem as if we have hijacked it. Back to you.
Are you educated or could we have some comments, reaction? It was interactive, but I'm sure there's still something. The mic is out. Okay.
Very informative and got you thinking, you know, where am I, where do I fall, you know? My observation of what you've been saying is, I always thought it was more of a culture. When you look at the Indians, it's more like a culture thing, you know? They take their children, they go to school, at the same time they make sure they skill them at a young age. So yes, there's a difference, but it's also a culture that is also engraved in the way we are finding being. That's what I'm thinking.
AJ has, there's a comment from AJ. Do we have anything online?
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Dick, for indeed sharing with us that great information. I agree with you entirely that if you take the example of public servants, one goes and works up to when they are 60, and after that, they are not sure what to do next. We need to quite a few of them. Somebody was permanently retired for 30 years. Now they do not have much. And I think that is a key example of one group that you are describing. I think those are the land. Whereas the others may prepare for even retirement to ensure that when you retire, finally, you have something to fall back to. So that is important. What I admire most is the hybrid. Because one can be learned, but also do prepare, work as a business person. You know, have the land, but also establish business so that one does not put all the eggs in one basket, like we say. So that you know that whereas you are employed, but you also have a farm where you can harvest your coffee, like my brother AB does here, and then you're able to create more wealth. So the hybrid, I think, is important. On the other hand, some of the people who establish business